It's not so much comedy as it is observational based on the scripture. I was thinking the other day when I was chopping wood. I wasn't really chopping wood. I was watching the History Channel, Mountain Men. But it doesn't matter. The thing is, every generation looks at an older generation and has to hear the stories of when I was your age. You ever had to gut your way through one of those stories? I think the worst time in history would have been if your grandparents were the Pilgrims. And you'd have to hear, well, we came across the ocean on a boat called the Mayflower. Of course, there was some debate on the name. Some of us thought it should be called the Floating Outhouse. But it smelled like a scented candle, so it wasn't all that bad. Of course, the scent of the candle would have been rotting clothes hamper. But we were thankful. We were thankful for the scented candle, rotten clothes hamper smell. And when we landed, we saw our first Indian. But we were preoccupied with other things at the time. Small matters like not starving to death and being eaten by wolves in the snow. We wore buckles. We were madly in love with buckles. Buckles everywhere. They stopped us from getting lost. We would say, where's Thomas? Clinkety clank, he would go off into the woods. We were sure to find him. We had buckles on our feet to keep them from falling apart. Buckles on our hats to stop our brains from exploding in frustration. But we were thankful for those buckles. We were thankful for that scented candle smell. And we were even thankful for the odd man dressed in the feathers and the leather clothing. And thankful that we lived to the ripe old age of 34. I'm just kidding, no. That's it. So the old guy was telling the truth, though. He really was. I was thinking about, the thankfulness. When I think about giving thanks, I think about this. I think about prayer. I started to think, man, let's get smart about it and look it up. What is thanksgiving? Thankfulness is gratitude. So I went to dictionary.com and I thought, to me, gratitude sounds more like something, if somebody helps you with a flat tire and you slip them a 20 and go appreciate it, it doesn't invoke the same vision and feeling as thanksgiving. And it turned, I was right. Dictionary.com gives one definition for gratitude: the quality or feeling of being grateful or thankful. So I thought, well, that's kind of lackluster, but that's pretty consistent with what I had thought earlier. And so I looked up Thanksgiving, thinking it would say a holiday. There are 4 definitions. Number 1, the act of giving thanks, grateful acknowledgement of benefits or favors, especially to God. Number 2, an expression of thanks, especially to God. Number 3, a public celebration and acknowledgement of divine favor or kindness. And finally, number 4, a day set apart for giving thanks to, you guessed it, God. And I think it's wonderful. It's wonderful that those sensibilities have been maintained even in our somewhat secular definitions. And the fact that everyone in this church certainly, and I think most people celebrating the holiday, keep the prayer at the center of the table, and the centerpiece is we're thankful for the thankfulness. So the old man in the story was telling the truth. He was following that scripture, Thessalonians. It seems funny to be thankful for things, but it sometimes it does until you look over your shoulder and see what you were being thankful for. So that's it. Just that's all I had to observe and talk about. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Give thanks in all circumstances, for it is God's will for you.